Hi guys, I'm Tammy and I'm here with Nicole from Some Frock. She's one of the wonderful team here. We are going to show you how to do a really easy day look that's going to last all day. So one of the questions I get asked the most about is how do I make my makeup last from day to night? It's a lot to do with preparation and a lot to do with setting. So let's get started. I'm using today an illuminating primer. For me, that is the way that I can reflect the light off the skin so that you get to use less coverage. And the one that I've got is Bring On Bright. It's the illuminating primer by Makeup Max, but you could use any primer that you have at your disposal. In the mornings, if you have a little bit of extra time, it's always a nice idea to treat yourself and do your makeup. You know, take your time, use the correct brushes. You'll find that you get a really different finish when you actually use the right tools. So today I'm using a few different brushes by Real Techniques, very easy to find. You can find them at Priceline and they're great quality. This one is the square foundation brush, but I'm using it to prep and even out skin tone. I've got an illuminating primer sitting underneath. This one's just by Makeup Max and I just really love the finish of it, but you could use any that you have at your disposal. So I'm just going to sweep this all over Nicole's face. If you don't have brushes, you can use your fingers for this. This does not have to be precise. And also sometimes using your fingers can warm the product up even better into the skin. How does that feel going on?
Yeah, nice and smooth.
Yeah, it's very hydrating, this particular formula. There are other primers. It's important to sort of figure out what the primer is that's best for your skin type. If you have very oily skin, some people don't like to have light reflecting primers on their skin or light reflecting makeup because they worry about the texture of their skin being highlighted. So you could choose something that's silica based, which has a far more silky feel and tends to be a little bit more mattifying. So the other thing about applying your primer is a lot of people will go in with their primer and then go straight in with their foundation over the top. I do really highly recommend that you just let it settle for a bit. Same thing with skincare, then you can see whether or not you need more or less of something. If you have time in the morning, I like to do my skincare, go get dressed, put the primer on, brush my teeth, you know, just work it into your routine so then it's not a production. You're not spending an hour doing this stuff, it becomes part of your routine. So now that's had about 30 seconds to a minute to set. As you can see, just tilt your head for me. Beautiful light reflection happening there. We get to wear a lot less foundation now. I don't like to load skin with a lot of foundation, and in fact, Nicole has really beautiful skin. She's also got a few freckles showing through as well. If you have freckles, there's no reason to cover them up. In fact, I love freckles, but I do understand that there are people who, you know, prefer to have a bit more coverage. So if you use something that's buildable, I would still recommend that you go in with something really lightweight to start and use your concealer to do the building. I'm using the MAC Face and Body here. It is very lightweight and there's lots of different products that are similar on the market. And then I'm going to go in with an Expert Face brush. This is a multitasking brush where you can buff product into the skin. I do prefer a brush. I think you do get a much better result, but if you don't have brushes, just use your hands for this as well. Okay, so as you can see, this is a completely natural, glowing finish. It looks like it's just her skin. That's because the formula that we used was very, very lightweight and completely buildable, and because we have that beautiful primer sitting underneath it, it actually acts as like a really beautiful foundation. And it also protects your skin from the makeup. So you've spent all that time preparing your skin, getting it glowy, getting it healthy, and then we're gonna put makeup over the top. So the primer is the barrier between the two. Now I'm gonna go in with a concealer. Because Nicole has beautiful freckles, I don't wanna be covering up her face at all. I'm actually just gonna get rid of the noise, which might be a little bit of darkness and a little bit of redness. So just looking up for me, Nicole. I'm just going to apply this under the eye. And even if it is a little bit thick when you start putting it on, I like to just let it settle and then buff it out. I do find that you get a much more natural finish when you let a product settle first before you start working with it. If you have a look straight down the camera for me, you can see there's just brightened under our eyes, but we aren't covering up all of that beautiful skin. The other place that I like to conceal is just through around the nose. This is a really good anti-aging trick, by the way. If you want your makeup to last all day, you do need to set it with some powder. I do like the Studio Fix from MAC, but there's some really great powders out there, but it's important that when you choose a powder, you have the right color. So this one, again, just tap it off. You don't need to use a whole lot. We're just going to be setting mostly down the T-zone to start with. And because we applied concealer, anywhere that we've applied some cream product, you can buff this on if you want to, depending on how much more coverage you would like. I'm gonna go very lightly because we really wanna see that beautiful skin texture. And I do like to kind of press it into the skin. I feel like when you do that, you get a much more natural effect. Okay, so now I'm going to apply a little bit of colour just through the cheeks, just to get that natural flush. And because this is just a day look, I want to keep it really light and very pretty. So best thing to do, again, smile. You can find the right shape for your blush, and getting a nice blush brush makes a huge difference. As you can see, this brush is meant for the apple of the cheeks, so the product goes on evenly and it actually hits the right points of the face. So per day, you don't really need to do anything drastic. You know, if you have one great color in your kit that really suits your eye color and skin tone, it can make all the difference. So this one is actually quite a popular one. It's called Millionaire. It's by Rimmel. It's a sort of oystery, pewter sort of tone, and it works on pretty much every skin tone and every eye color. So I'll get you to close your eyes for me. We're just going to apply it to all over the lid. The main thing is that you just want to make sure that you're buffing out any edges so that you have a really smooth and evenly blended eyeshadow. Okay, I really love a fine liner for brows. I think brows make the makeup, so that's what I get excited about, brows. And you've got great brows, Nicole. The first step is just to comb them up. And then we're just going to fill in the gaps. So do again quickly, you want to make sure that you've got a really beautifully measured out brow, and then we're just going to draw in the strokes. So just in the corner of the nose, and from that outward point in the nose to the outward point of the eye, just looking at me, that's where the arch is. And then from the outward point of the nose to the outward point of the eye, that's where the end of the brow is. So you can always just, you know, put points in, dots in, just to help you. So you can see the difference that putting brows on makes a huge difference. The whole eye sort of is now framed, and we're just going to add a bit of mascara. And then because this is just a very simple day look, I'm not going to bother with eyeliner for this one. We'll just add a beautiful lip and then we're done for the day. I cannot believe what a difference mascara makes on your eyes. It really lines her eyes, so that's why it's a good idea. Sometimes even do your mascara first, then you can decide whether or not you need eyeliner. Because I mean, a lot of the time for a day look, you don't have a lot of time, you just need to get out the door. So that looks amazing. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna pop on a really simple lip for you, and then we are done. This is a beautiful sort of mauve color, easy to wear. It's a NARS lip gloss. There are so many amazing lip products out there. I'm spoiled for choice. So we're just gonna pop this gloss on really easily. It's a really wearable color. Perfect for day because it's not too bold, but it still gives your lips some definition and a little bit of a prettier sort of tone. Also gives it a lot of fullness. So the final step in all of this is to set your makeup with a setting spray, and a lot of people are not really comfortable with the idea of setting spray. I think they feel it's quite unnecessary. But if I had two products that I would take to me on every single shoot that I do or any makeup that I do, it would be my primer and my setting spray. One will prepare the skin for the makeup and hold it, and the other one will help it set and last for the whole day. So the other thing that this one does is it makes it look like it's just your skin. So I'll get you to close your eyes for me very lightly, and we're just gonna spritz it over. There are so many setting sprays on the market, but you want to look for something that doesn't contain any alcohol and contains a bit of glycerin so that it keeps the skin hydrated and it doesn't separate the makeup. And that's the finished look. It's very fresh, it's very easy for day, and you can easily play it up for night.